Morning, and this morning we've come out to Pikestones Neolithic burial mound on the moors above the area where I live. Now I've come out here, basically we like coming out here anyway, but for a specific reason this time, because of the time of year. I like coming out here, it's beautiful countryside, but it's also something earthy, primal, that really tugs at you when you come to places like this, places as old as Pikestones. The wind is absolutely howling across the moors today, so most of my to camera will be done facing away from the wind, so it may be a bit of a task today. Now I'm not going to go into great detail about Pikestones, a little bit of detail, but not a lot, because I've done two other videos about Pikestones which I will link in the description. But let's just do a brief overview. Pikestone Burials Ground is Neolithic, and the Neolithic period ranged between 12,000 years ago and about 4,000 years ago, when it gave way to the Bronze Age. This is a burial mound. It was much bigger in the day and covered in soil and turfs, but you can still see all around you all the rocks that made up the burial mound. And the burial chamber is here in front of us, and we can actually see the stone at the head of it. It's collapsed in now. It would have been upright stones with a lintel across the top. The lintel has fallen in and the upright stones are leaning against each other. And like I say, I don't need to go in a great deal of detail because I've done two other quite detailed videos about it. But I just love it. I love that I can come up here and put my hands on it and just feel history. It like vibrates through your fingers. Like I say, I'm not a Buddhist, I'm not a pagan. I've been accused of being both over the years. I had a friend who always told me I was a Buddhist, but I didn't know it. But I just kind of try to live my life on Buddhist principles. I have a friend who's a pagan and says I'm a pagan, but I'm not. I love nature. I adore nature. I worship nature. If I have to worship something, I will worship nature, but it goes no further than that. There are no deities involved. I'm not worship anything. I'm in awe of nature, but I don't worship nature. And places like this just make me so, it's exciting. You kind of get lost. I feel so small. Up here, above the Lancashire Plain, high up, where thousands and thousands of years ago, people from a certain tribe, from a certain settlement in this area, laid somebody to rest here. And this would have been a very, very, very significant place at this very significant time of the year. This is a very significant time of the year for many people. And it's a time of the year, Yule, that has been celebrated for thousands upon thousands of years, going into the mists of time. The winter solstice, the shortest day, the coming back of the sun, was celebrated around the 21st to 22nd of December, and then was co-opted into Christianity as the Christian faith took over paganism, especially here in Northern Europe, in Northwest Europe. People still come up here. People will be coming up here in a few days. I hope they find it a bit better underfoot than we did, because it's wet and underwater and it's hostile. And it would have been hostile 5, 6, 7,000, 8,000 years ago when these stones were laid here and the person was laid to rest here. Nothing much will have changed. It's bleak and it's windswept. There would have been no great forest. No forests were cleared over time round here, it's always been just this, a wild, windswept moorland that evokes memories like the great Grimpen Mire in the Hound of the Baskervilles. You only need to hear the name, the great Grimpen Mire, and you can see the wild hound with its glowing eyes. And here, Pikestones Neolithic burial ground. It just invokes images of people thousands and thousands of years ago. At the end of what they call the New Stone Age, which was going into the Bronze Age and the Iron Age after that, and then medieval times after that. We are talking a long time ago, and I'm sitting and I can put my hands on these stones and I can feel history vibrating through them. It's awe-inspiring. It's what I'm all about. Just living in nature and feeling nature, and you don't get any more in nature than being up here, sitting next to the stones of a burial site that some thousands of years ago, probably a large amount of people from some settlement long gone, and these moors would have come up here. Why they laid it here, I don't know. We talk about this in the other video if you want to see more footage. It's going to be very difficult today because the wind is so high and so loud, and I just hope that the audio does cut through. But just go and watch those videos. There's some good footage, good photographs of the mound itself and explanations about it. But it's fabulous. And I've come here specifically at this time of year to pay homage to and be at one with the people who laid these here, the spirits of those people, all lingering here thousands of years later, and they will linger here as long as this is here. And the great respect to the people round here. Yes, stones have fallen over, stones are buried in the turf around us, stones are sticking up. They were all laid here for specific reasons in specific places, and it's been here for thousands of years and it hasn't been destroyed. I'm sure people have come up here and pushed a few stones about, because the human race, the modern human race, are inherently mad. But for the most part, it has been left just to nature to take over. You think about all the changes, the wars throughout the hundreds and thousands of years, the modern wars that destroyed all areas, everything that's gone on, kings and queens come and gone, inventions, extinctions of animals that probably developed after this had been put here and are now extinct, and this is still here. And at all that time this had just sat here in all its majesty on the side of a moor in the northwest of England. And I just find it's so awe-inspiring. I actually do find it difficult to put into words. I love this place. I love this kind of place. The UK, we have been blessed, haven't we, with an absolute abundance of ancient sites of archaeological value and interest, all the way up to Scotland, Ireland, down south, Wales. Wherever you go in this sceptred isle, you will find ancient sites, and they're very specific because a lot of them, they are specific to northwest Europe, like from the Norse, from Denmark, North Germany, Norway, England, that kind of area, whereas other places in Greece have their monuments, but they're slightly different. They're all unique, and this is unique to us. There's almost the same other places, but because archaeological finds are in different kind of environments, we have this windswept, wet northern Europe climb, like today, with low clouds and high winds and intermittent rain, and it's cold, but that all adds to it. It's fabulous. do go and watch the other videos, because it will give you much more of an idea of what I'm trying to say. But it's difficult today because I am actually in ideal weather conditions for coming up here. I don't want to come up in the sun. I do come up in the sun with a flask, and me and Molly sit and watch the world go by. But this is it. This is wild and intense, and the clouds are scudding across the sky in the distance, and the light's going light, dark, as the sun tries to come through the clouds. And this is Pikestones. This is a 10,000-year-old burial site with an ideal backdrop in an ideal environment, and I'm glad I came up here today. It was a struggle, and it was a struggle for Molly, and we're going to have to find a different route back because the route up was pretty much flooded, and the ground underfoot, it's very easy to break your ankle up here. But I'm so glad we came, and I'm so glad we came at this time of year. I feel in a way slightly part of this because my bloodline suggests, well, I know it's some Scandinavian that came across, so there is some Danelaw in me, and hopefully I think there may be some Celtic Britain from before the time of the Anglo-Saxons. I can't be 100% sure, but I do know that my lineage goes back a long time. I'm about as British, I'm about as English as you can possibly get, and I'm proud of it. And we English are vilified and called all sorts of evil things, but we're a proud people, and I'm very proud to be English. And I'm proud that with a bit of luck, a 1% of me might be linked to this. That is a thrilling feeling. We're not going to hang about today because the weather conditions aren't conducive, and I'm hoping I can edit this and get some footage out of it to put up before Christmas, because I have come up here just to pay respects to the spirits of our forebears in England who roam this countryside, who worshipped their gods, their pagan gods, who celebrated here like they celebrated down at Stonehenge on the winter solstice and the summer solstice. And it's a thrill to be up here and just to lay my hands on this. Molly's getting in the way because Molly always gets underfoot. Mind out of the way, Molly. But it's great to be able to just lay my hands on this and feel the vibrations. I'm right over the head of the burial chamber now, and to lay my hands on this and feel the vibe, the echoes of history throbbing through this rock covered in lichen, but just as it would have been all those thousands of years ago. So that's it. I wanted to say more, but like I say, the weather is against us. So we will leave it at that. I may put another video up before Christmas if I can. We're in for a long spell of very bad weather here in the northwest, so I may or I may not do. My camera isn't waterproof, so I think the lens is at the moment is covered in water droplets, so I hope you can see something at least. But in the meantime, if I don't see you before Christmas, all have a great Christmas, have a great Yule. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever God you worship, I don't give a toss. That's not down to me, that's down to you. Just be good to each other. Don't be an arsehole. This is fantastic. I want to stay here, but I can't. Got to get Molly down onto some dry ground and go for a nice walk somewhere a bit more conducive to her running about. I hope the sound's okay. If not, we won't be putting it out. But hopefully it will be, and we shall see you all on the flip. Peace and love. Thousands of years have come and gone, and they've just stood here magnificently on the side of a moor in Lancashire, just being cool.